All right. This is Possum.
And Frosty.
And we
Together.
Together
we are Frosty Possum.
Okay. Today we are discussing the 2003 movie called INFESTATION. So, it's a French film. It's worth the subtitles. And this is a spoiler-free review because it's pretty new, so don't really want to disclose much of anything.
Oh, is it 2003? 2003?
Oh, sorry, 23.
2023.
Should we back up and start over?
No.
Okay. All right, so I have to say that this movie, I wanted to kick my shoes off and put my feet up out of the way. Except that I didn't want anything in my shoes. So, there's like usual predictable horror tropes. Things hiding under the bed, in the closet, behind the door, that kind of thing. This movie kind of crosses an arachnophobic movie. Plus, there's a movie, a Spanish movie called Wreck, where people are quarantined. And quarantine was the English version. And they're trapped in a building. And these people are trapped in this building because this knucklehead collects various animals, and he buys a spider that's from the Middle East, and hilarity ensues. Not really. So what did you think of this?
I think it had a lot of anxiety-provoking scenes.
It certainly did. What else did you think?
Well, it's kind of difficult to go into, the meat and potatoes of it because of, what all did happen with it. But your anxiety, I think it's pretty safe to say your anxiety is going to be coming at you from multiple different levels and multiple different causes.
It's claustrophobic. It's
dark.
It's
semi-reality based, kind of.
Well, there's nothing supernatural here. It's man versus nature. So, did you think that this movie was scary?
I think there are parts of it that will be extremely frightening to individuals. Just from the arachnophobia standpoint of it, as you indicated, claustrophobic. But there's other things that maybe fear is not the exact word, but the anxiety and the man versus man aspect of it might also bring about a lot of fear and anxiety.
Well, this movie also deals with kind of class struggle. The people in the movie live in apparently a French version of the ghetto. They're not the rich people. They're not elite. They're all a little bit rough around the edges. The men are kind of puffing out their chests, and
a lot of testosterone.
A lot of testosterone in this.
But there's quite a bit of estrogen too, so.
A little bit of estrogen. So, but the women are almost as mean as the men.
That's what I was going to say when I
Yeah.
was saying estrogen. I mean, I'm always, I prefer movies that are reality based, and I believe these women responded better. It's definitely not a 1950s, oh my God, I'm
Right.
about to faint, the kind of thing. They did what they needed to do.
It has to do with familial things. There's a brother and sister in there. I thought she was just a slacker, but she turns out to be a policeman. So there's
Or
some
as she says, a metro.
policeman.
Yeah.
But she's a metro policeman. Her brother is the slacker. I don't remember finding out what he did for a living other than sell stolen shoes to people. There's a MMA fighter who is also apparently involved in the medical profession. His girlfriend is involved in the medical profession. So
I will say
there's
this.
some intelligent people there.
I will say this. While he was selling stolen shoes, he has ethics.
Yeah, he repeatedly says to people, they're like, swear on this, and he goes, I don't swear. He has a code of conduct that he holds to, and he kind of enforces other people to go by this code of conduct.
And they'll take offense if
Yes. And kick the mess out of you if you don't hold to it. So, do you think this movie needed to be made?
Yeah, I mean, from the standpoint of it's extremely entertaining. It takes movies like Wreck and Quarantine, and it
And Arachnophobia.
it does move them to a different level.
Yeah.
I think that the storyline in this movie was exceptional. I think that one of the plots flowed throughout, and I think it's going to be a surprise for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
The genuineness that they feel, empathy towards one another, even when there was, disgruntled moments, they worked through them, and I think it gave a really good representation of how, quote unquote, that class of people facing obstacles and problems, work through them and solve them. There is how did you say, chaos in the plan development, but hey, it worked.
Well, and there's much like Wreck and Quarantine, there's conflict with the authorities doing what they think they should do, and people being trapped because of that in horrible circumstances.
But again, I think that that's a reflection on society in general,
Right.
because there are so many circumstances, and we'll just pick on Louisiana. I mean, we've had Hurricane Rita, we've had Hurricane Katrina, we had Gustav, we had Ike. People had to do certain things, certain procedures that people had to follow, but unfortunately, those procedures did lead to others getting hurt. It's one of those things in which when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't seem to be very fair, even though everybody is doing what has been planned all along through the disaster preparedness.
Yeah.
It is. It's just a situation in which it's not necessarily that there's good decisions. It's which one can you pick that's not the worst.
Little bit of a spoiler here, but to me, one of the scariest scenes was at the beginning when these people over in Saudi Arabia are finding these spiders and trapping them. They put them each in like a strawberry container or something. And I had this thing about you turn over a rock, you find a big hole, and you stick your hand in it. You don't do that.
But this is I mean, the whole purpose behind that, and again, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean, it's not that far reaching. They were doing this to make money.
Right.
They were selling these animals. And that is an ongoing problem that we have in the United States about having these pets and animals brought into the country and winding up taking over environmental parts.
Non-native species.
Right, and causing a lot of danger and damage to the public.
Well, a real life example of that was in Florida. There was a pet store that sold boa constrictors, and a hurricane came through, devastated the pet store, and the snake got out. And they're in the swamp now. They're thriving. And some of these snakes are big enough to eat dogs or alligators. There are photos I have seen of snakes whose stomachs were exploded because they tried to swallow alligator bigger than their tummy can handle. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the snakes are all over. They're taking over, kind of, sort of.
Well, and there's lots of animals, species that are that way. And again, going back to procedure and policy, I mean, I know that people want to have exotic pets and things, but there's a reason for these rules. And this is a worst case scenario, but still, it very well could happen. Different things like that, and that's one of the things that makes it scary too. Is it's the reality of this is not really that far off.
No. Another spoiler here. There is no nudity in this movie, so no boobies. Sorry about that.
Well, I will say this though, because that kind of is my forte, is identifying the physical resources of our actresses and actors. But I will say there's a lot of true emotion or scenes in it. Mm-hmm. And when what I'm saying is love. It's like I say, people working through their issues and that type of thing.
Right. Okay. From a standpoint of the dangers of importing and buying non-native species, people buying stuff that they don't know. The guy didn't know that the spider would get that big. He didn't know how deadly poison the thing was. So importing animals like that, this movie, though it's a horror film, could be looked at as speaking about this, why you don't...
Could have a message there.
Right, why you don't bring non-native animals into your country.
But let's go back to we're talking about this particular topic. So, I mean, it kind of it's common sense that is going to happen. But the guy who originally was selling the thing didn't give a damn. Mm-hmm. He just told the boy. He said, "Well, I think it might be venomous."
Yeah.
Had no idea what. It's like having a carton of milk on the shelf. They're just trying to make them $1 off of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did you enjoy this movie?
Oh yeah, I thought this was an excellent movie.
Okay.
It's a good popcorn movie, as you said.
Yeah.
I think in a time or two.
Well, this is a little bit beyond a popcorn movie. Popcorn
Well,
movie to me is you watch this and you're munching on your popcorn and you greatly enjoy the movie, but it's sort of I'm interested, but it's not really anything I haven't seen before. And in a way, this is something I haven't seen before.
I personally think this would be a great movie to for adults to show, like in a group setting, like a family setting, or your friends, and having popcorns. And because I'm going to tell you, there'll probably be a great deal of talking at the television set as the scenes, advance in there. I think it's from a popcorn standpoint, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a fun movie.
What age would you recommend this one for?
I think it's an adult. I'm not up on the PG-13 or 14 or whatever, but I definitely think that this is one that will, especially due to the nature you're dealing with spiders. I think there are some adults who are afraid of spiders, who are not going to be able to handle that part of it.
But then I know some kids
that
8, 9 years old that would find this great fun.
I agree. But I do think because of the violence and the other stuff in there, that's
at least middle teens.
Yeah,
if not older.
I would agree with that.
That and the fact that the subtitles are a little fast, and so the kid would have to be able to read fairly quick.
Well, I'm going to tell you, today in our society, we got some little fast readers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the differences in generations.
I'm going to recommend this movie for the parent needs to decide. And I would recommend the parent watching this first and then going back and seeing what they think. I know that even as a teen, and as I said at the beginning of this, I felt like I wanted to take my shoes off and put my feet up on the sofa, but I didn't want anything in my shoe. I saw a video of somebody bumped their shoe the other day and had the camera on it, and the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life crawled out of somebody's tennis shoe.
Yep.
They knew it was in there, and they were trying to get it to come out.
Well, and scorpions too, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Anything. Desert climates or in the military, especially, they you check all that stuff to make sure that they're clear and that you don't have any creepy crawlies in with it.
All right. So, do you think this should be remade into an English version?
I would like to. I think that it's going to be received better if they dub it, or else they make an English speaking version of it. I really wish that people. I understand that it can be a pain, but those subtitles. We were discussing this earlier. A lot of. If you want to see something different, if you want to see something unique, to me, putting up with the subtitles is a small price to pay.
Oh yeah.
And this is a good example of it. I mean, but so was Rec and Quarantine. It again, that I had never seen a quote unquote quarantine type movie that was that advanced until that movie, and originally we did have to watch it with subtitles.
I think I saw Rec was the older movie.
Yes.
But I think I watched Quarantine before I watched Rec. I wanted to see what was different in the movie. And this would be really good if you had the proper director. somebody wasn't just trying to make a buck and do a cheap knockoff. I would like to know, because all the spiders looked real. It didn't look CGI. So I would like to know what kind of spiders those were and how the hell they got 200-300 spiders to cooperate.
I am going to say this. I think I'm going the other direction with it. I think it is CGI. I think that the actors were remarkable working off of a green screen the way they are, and I'm going to tell you why I think it is. Number one, animals are protected now on sets. Mm-hmm. The cockroaches, the spiders, and everything else. And I don't think that the organizations that protect them would allow them to be exposed to those kinds of dangers. Number one. Number two, I think that it's given a lot of credit to CGI, because remember how used to it was easy to spot and they looked silly and that kind of stuff, whereas these really did look real. Mm-hmm. Now again, I can't swear to that because I don't have anybody saying, "Oh yes, this scene was done with CGI," but I know if they are using animals. Something had to be CGI, either the explosions or the fire or the debris or whatever, one of the two. And so I was thinking of that when I was watching it.
And with this, you can make replica spiders and stick them up in the web and only have 1 or 2 real spiders that are fairly easy to wrangle.
I agree with that too. Probably a mixture of both.
All right. So I would vote for a English version, but only if a reputable director did it. The guy that directed the latest Halloween movies and the latest Exorcist thing, no. If you had somebody like James Wan or even Spielberg, somebody that knew the genre, knew how to make something scary. If somebody like that gets a hold of it, it'll be great and terrifying, instead of, oh yeah, look, a spider.
I would be happy to see a sequel to it as well. As long as they, kept the minimums,
mm-hmm.
With this. I think it would do extremely well.
But not with the same people and not in the same area.
No,
some other part of the world.
Well, and again, that's one of the things about it. The way that they did it kind of starts in the lower class. It can always go to one of those high rises.
Yeah. Okay. So what rating are you giving this?
I believe I'm going to shoot for 4 out of 5 snowmen on this one.
Okay.
And again, standing on its own. I'll deduct a point basically because it is subtitles, and I know there's a lot of people who are not going to like that. It did not have the best ending in the world, but it was, like I said, we're not going into that, but I think it's well enough for a 4 out of 5, and I do recommend this movie.
All right. Well, I'll agree with you about the subtitles, but I think that people need to stop being afraid of subtitles, stop being afraid of black and white movies, because you're missing a lot. And subtitle, especially horror films, French films, Korean films. We were talking earlier tonight, the two of us, about a Korean film that we had both seen that is extremely scary and graphic, but it's worth watching. And that's I Saw the Devil. Very adult, but very much worth catching. And you have to watch subtitles. But you, after like 5 minutes of looking at subtitles real quick, getting an idea and looking back up at the screen, I think that the payoff that you get watching some of these foreign films is Train to Busan is another one. The payoff of seeing a really good movie, be it horror, drama, whatever.
Fantasy, science fiction.
Fantasy, yeah. If you refuse to watch stuff with subtitles, you're missing a lot.
Well, and the world is changing as well. I mean, used to, only a very, 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 very small percentage of Americans would ever see one of these movies. But today,
they didn't get there.
Today they're at the end of our arms and on our cell phones, on our TVs, on streaming services, and so just like working in just about any field in the United States. I mean, that's why Google Translate. We're getting to a point where we are having to be multilingual, or at least have the ability to interpret those languages so that we can. And I think that's going to fall into the entertainment industry. I think it's already there.
Well, with this being in French, my high school French is still good enough that I caught a few words there. So, but if you think about it, going way back 100 years, silent films, you had to read the little card things that were in there. So it's not that much different. The action doesn't stop, so you can read the little card thing. The action keeps going, and you just read it at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to recommend this. I'm going to give it 4.5 raccoon tails for this. And recommend it, or I'll give it a 8 out of 10.
Well, and I want to say this as well. If I was going to pick a movie to read subtitles, if I was against reading subtitles, but if I was going to pick a movie, this would be one of those that I would really recommend you start with. Again, it's just that good. It's a really good place.
Fast-paced.
Yeah. I mean, because I was sitting on the edge of my seat the whole movie, and that's with the subtitles. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was really no slow points to it. As they say, the timing on this thing was awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, so we're both recommending this, saying that it's a really good movie. This currently is playing on the Shudder channel, but probably you can find it on a couple of other pay-per-view channels.
And guys, when you get to the end of the video, comment in the section if you want us to go more in depth into rotten egg spoiler, where we actually talk about. I know we're probably talking more about this as in a spoiler-free kind of setting than what most people do when they do spoiler-free. But if you want us to give a sure enough spoiled rotten review, if you think so, let us know in the comments, and we may revisit that so that we can
or if you have a movie you want to recommend that we haven't seen, because we both watch a lot of stuff. It took a while to find something that neither of us have seen. So, recommend something. And definitely check this one out. Don't think that anybody's going to be disappointed.
I don't think so either.
And if you're okay with it, but you have a friend that's scared of spiders, definitely tape them to the chair and have them watch it. It is terrifying without being unnecessarily gross.
Now, I will say, I also want to, wrap it up with saying this. We did not cover the bullshit meter being set off because it
well.
would be too deep into the spoiling
Yeah.
of it. So if that's something that I know normally we talk about that, but if that again, that's another thing you might put in the comments because I do have quite a few things in that area, but I'm not getting into it tonight because it will reveal too much of the movie. So I don't think that's fair.
I don't think my meter went off. I bought pretty much everything that they did. So anyway, it's called Infested. It's in French. It's on Shudder, and it is a damn good movie and certainly worth catching. So check it out, my friends.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah. This is The Possum.
And I'm Frosty, and together we are Frosty Possum.